I'm going to go over Apple, AMC, and Snow and give you price targets for Thursday. First up, Apple, we ended the day at 189.37, down more than 0.5%. The day's low, 188.97. The day's high, 192.09. The 1-year price target, 196.53, which represents a 3.78% from where we are. Now, to the north side, back at the middle of the trend or the baseline, and in this case, resistance, 189.82. Above that, at 2 standard deviations and another level of resistance and a possible take profit area, 191.11. Above that, 191.74, and at 4 standard deviations and another take profit area, 192.38. To the south side at -2 standard deviations and support, 188.52. Another level of support and possible buy-in area, 187.88 and 187.24. This gap closed to the downside at 190.37. This one to the upside at 191.23. And a couple other ones have also closed out. Now, this gap right here that I talked about in the past is still in play. This would take Apple, down to 188.17, and this gap to the south side takes Apple down to 187.51, and this gap, which is not in our channel, not in our zone yet, but something to be aware of, takes us down to 184.79, and this one would take us down to 182.49. I will keep you posted on that if we make it that low, but this would definitely be a possible buy-in area for those of you who are waiting to get in at a better price than where we are now. But something to keep your eye on. We, again, are not there yet. The RSI is at 50. Now to AMC. It's been a while since I've gone over this one. We ended the day at $7.17, up a whopping 7%. The day's low, 686. The day's high, 734. The 1-year price target is $9.15, which represents a 27% return from where we are. Now, to the north side takes us to resistance and a possible take profit area, 730. If we make it to here, I will anticipate a sell-off as people get out. To the north side of that, 747, another take profit area, and at 4 standard deviations, 764. I never anticipate price to get to 4 standard deviations in one day, but if we do, I definitely will anticipate a sell-off. To the south side, the middle of the trend basically takes us to a gap to the downside at roughly 693, closes out at 673, -2 standard deviations and a possible buy-in area, 660. Note the week's low, at 652, -3 standard deviations, 642, and 625. If we get to this level, I will definitely anticipate a buy-in as people buy the dip. Now this gap, looking left, closed out at 715. And note the sell-off at resistance here and here. And if we are going down, this turns into support and the bounce at support all the way back to resistance. And then the price falling down here as well as we hit resistance and fell through this line, support, and then it broke through, didn't quite make it to -2 standard deviations, but bounced. And then on the way up, this turns into resistance. The RSI is at 59, and the final stock is Snow. I want to thank Murat for pointing this out. He says he is watching this one on his watch list. He has traded this one before and in the past sold out at 192.42 in Q3. So congratulations on that win there. He's also looking at CRM, NVO, and CI. I'll cover those stocks at a different point. But first, to Snow. We ended at the middle of the trend, and that is 175.32, up 2%. The day's low, 174.35. The day's high, 177.60. The one-year price target is 203, which represents a 16% return from where we are. So very nice. Now, to the north side takes us to roughly 178.41. This is resistance. I will anticipate a sell-off if we make it to here. The next level of resistance, 179.95 and 181.48. Now, to the south side, 172.31. Oh, note this gap that forms to the south side, beginning at roughly 174. Oh, let's just say 74. And let me move that. All right, -2 standard deviations. I got distracted. 172.34. This gap closes out at 171.51. -3 standard deviations and a possible buy-in area, 170.88 and 169.27. So if you like to go short, this is possibly a good gap to go short in, and then a bounce at support. The RSI is at 44, plenty of room to the upside. Looking left, note the sell-off here at resistance, back down to support. Resistance, resistance, selling off, support here, and a bounce. And if we are down here and go up, this turns into resistance, fell apart, went sideways a little bit, back up, back down to support, tried to bounce off, back at support, bouncing up, back at support, and the process repeats itself. Sell off at resistance, buy in here. If this is up here, resistance, falling down, this turns into support. We fell through. And note the gap here that closed at roughly 167.21. So we gapped up and then we fell back down. What goes up must go down, closed it out. And then a nice trend to the upside on the 5-minute time frame. So the channel is going upward. I like that. And let me show you this on the daily time frame so you can see the price target there. All right. This is the price target on the daily time frame here. Look at that. Takes us to 2 standard deviations. All right. So on the daily, that's 3 standard deviations. 2 standard deviations is 189.46, and 3 standard deviations where the 1-year price target is takes us to there. If I weren't an analyst, I could figure that one out myself. And then the next target would be 218.05. All right, that does it for me. Oh, watch out on the daily time frame. The RSI is getting into the dangerous territory of being overbought and selling off. And right here, earnings and revenue. We met both. So that's good. And I will flip this to the weekly to show you the RSI. We've got room to go to the upside and more room to the upside on the monthly time frame. But on the daily, looking dangerous. But of course, it will sell off to go back down again, to go back up again for the next leg, because according to the analysts, there's a lot of upside potential. That does it for me. Thank you to Murad again for pointing out some great stocks. And if there is a stock that you would like me to go over, please let me know.